And welcome to Smash Writing. This video is a little bit late. I'm sorry. But the first time I recorded, I did this. I didn't really like how it came out. So we're taking another walk into the land of pain and pleasure with Hellraiser Hellworld. The final chapter to this date, where she's Doug Bradley playing the role of the Hell Priest. Hopefully he goes out with a bang. Let's dive in, check out, and see how it goes, shall we? The movie opens up with a kid, a teenager. He's digging a hole, and he screams, and then we jump to a funeral. The kid who's digging, his name was Adam. We meet his friends, who are Mike, Chelsea, Derek, I believe, and Addison? Something. It's not even that important, really, till you even look it up. And there's another friend, Jake, who's mad at them. He blames them for Adam taking himself out. And the fact that they introduced him to a game that we learned is called, well, before we get there, they talk about Adam's dad a little bit, and the fact he hasn't been around. And then we jump 2 years. The game they're talking about is a game called Hellworld, which I thought was a really shitty looking Flash game from the little bit that we've seen of it. But it turns out it's an MMORPG. I believe that those are the initials. But, 3 of the friends win, and they get invited to a Hellworld party kind of deal at Leviathan Mansion. Chelsea does against this, but when she realizes that all of her friends are going, she decides to cave in, and she plays, and she gets the invite too. And they show up, and we are introduced, a big party going on, and we're introduced to the host, which I'll probably call Lance from time to time. He offers him drinks, and the one woman, Addison, I gotta figure out that's her name, it's gonna drive me nuts. Allison is her name. Allison actually sprays herself in the face with perfume. Chelsea and Jake both decline drinks, they don't want anything. And he takes them on a little tour, and he gives them a history of the merchant, and the main configuration, and his love of Hellworld, and all this lore. During which he actually sticks a needle into Chelsea's arm. But they go off. Oh, before they go off, they all get masks and cell phones. Masks have numbers. If you see what you like, you dial the number and you go with that girl or whatnot. And then things start to go sideways. Allison is forced to go. She sits down in like this torture chair, gets shackled down, and the host turns on this saw blade that takes out her throat. Then Derek gets beheaded by the Hell Priest, which kind of shows you something weird is going on here when he's getting his hands dirty like that. And then Mike is taken out with a meat hook. Meanwhile, Jake is starting to think something suspicious. And he follows a nun, and he ends up sleeping with this woman. And then that's the first person at the party who will actually interact with him, because everyone seems to see through him. He's not really there. And Chelsea gets locked in the room for the most part. For a long while, she's locked in this little room. But for her credit, she does call the cops. And they show up, and the host convinces them that it's just some drugged out girl at the party trying to ruin the party. And she's banging on the window talking to them on the phone, but they can't see her at the window, so they leave. So Chelsea and Jake escape, and they're running about the place. And Lance, the host, seems to actually teleport around at point to point. And Jake realizes what's going on. They've all been poisoned. This is all a hallucination. And they finally come together, and they're trying to escape. And Chelsea, roundhouse kicks Lance over the banister and down to the bottom floor. And he gets right back up. And he does his teleporting thing as they're running through a field. And it leads them to 5 graves with like this PVC pipe air holes coming out of it. And it turns out they're all been buried alive. He poisoned them and is giving them hallucinations through individual cell phones. Allison, Mike, and Derek are actually dead. Allison tore out her throat to try to get away from the saw blades. Derek had a asthma attack, and Mike just died of fear. And it looks like she's about to get hit with this pick, but it's really the cops digging her out. And someone had used her cell phone, and they were able to track the cell phone to this location, and searched it and found the graves. And you see Adam's ghost from the manor showing to show you that Adam's ghost used her cell phone and he saved them. And the host escapes, and he's at this old shoddy motel when he's got the lament configuration that Adam had. Because it looked like Adam took himself out to try to avoid being sucked into the box. So the dad opens the box. And they come and they cut him into pieces. And it is a CGI abomination. We'll go on. We see Chelsea and Jake one more time. And their cell phone goes off and they hallucinate the host again. And they leave you on that sign of maybe they're still buried alive and they were never saved at all. And that is Hellraiser. Hellworld. Lance Hendrickson was really good. And they really wasted him in this movie. I can't even really rely on Doug Bradley here because for the most part he's just a hallucination who says the game is real and Adam was right, and that's about all his lines until he meets the dad at the end and he has a bit more. So they wasted his final outing. The one good gore scene was Allison's demise at the saw blades. Not that that was real, that was hallucination. I really hated this hallucination thing. It doesn't work out great. It seemed like everything at the party was a waste because it was none of it was real. It was all just in their head. It was guilt-driven hallucinations brought upon their guilt of turning Adam onto this game, which led to his demise because he got sucked into the video game. And you have to remember, this movie came out in 2005, which means they were playing this terrible flash game-looking MMORPG over the likes of God of War and Resident Evil 4 and Mercenaries came out that year. That's a great game. I love that series. I want that remade. But World of Warcraft was probably still going. It was probably going at this time. I think that's an MMORPG. The initials on games confuse me. John is confusing me anymore. Nothing worked in this movie. It wasn't really that fun either. The party scene was just weird. If you want I was gonna say if you want the carnage candy and, the things that go into movies like this, the sex, the carnage candy, the blah blah blah. That's not even really here either, because a lot of the blood is CGI and it's 2005, low budget CGI. Like, I gave hell to Carrie, and Carrie's stuff is much better than what we got here. Or on par with it, and some of it was much worse than what we got with the Carrie movie. I'm gonna be a little nice to it, because Dadder pissed me off at least. This movie didn't just piss me off, it was just boring. I didn't get behind the big twist, and I'm gonna give it a D. And I can see why some people might like it for being a dumb movie, but that didn't work enough for me here. Because we had a lot of dumb movies in this franchise that are really fun to watch. So that's my final grade. I'm giving it a D. Thank you for all watching. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.